went through his eyeglass case and the speech that he was supposed to give, and very logically.
Ladies and gentlemen, in about 2 minutes, we're going to begin the musket firing demonstration. Anyone there in the back that wants to see the musket firing demonstration might want to make your way towards the Living History encampment. This is the last one for the day. We are not doing this again today, so if you missed this one, unless you got time to come back tomorrow, you missed it. All right, my name is Daniel, and I'm a member of the Living History staff here at the Alamo. Behind me, we have Kent, Phil, Art, Zach, Robert, Jackson, and right about you, Scott and Kirk. Okay, we are all members of the Living History staff. Okay, and this is the afternoon musket demonstration. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to talk to you about what a musket is, capabilities of the weapon. Okay, the different types of muskets that would have been here at the Alamo, and then we are going to do the part that everybody wants to see, which is us firing 3 volleys. Okay, so first, what is a musket? Smoothbore pipe firing a lead ball. Okay, it is not rifled. In fact, in the 1830s, if you had mentioned the name rifle, you would have been talking about a weapon that had rifled grooves carved down the barrel. These are not this. Okay, this is a smoothbore weapon. The range on muskets is about 75 yards. Is how far the ball is going to travel in a straight distance. They're sighted out to about 150 yards, but that just means that they'll hit the broadside of a barn. Nothing more. Okay? Now, the reason the light infantry uses this weapon is not because of the range or the accuracy. It is because of the rate of fire. Muskets can fire 3 to 4 shots a minute. It should take you about 15 to 20 seconds per shot. With about 2 hours of instruction, even a caveman can do it. Okay? That's how simple it is. Also, it is a 3-pronged weapon system. Okay? It is a firearm, yes, but more importantly, it is also a spear. Notice the bayonets. And because muskets were made of a hard wood, such as walnut, it is a club. Okay? 3 weapons in one. And the purpose of warfare at this time is not kill as many people as you can. It's to scare your enemy off the field. Okay? So intimidation factor. When the Texians took over, there were a lot of arms and munitions. And being so, the most common musket inside the Alamo is the English Brown Bess. Okay, it is a 75 caliber musket. Okay? Now you're probably asking yourself, what is an English musket doing in Texas in 1835, 1836? The answer is quite simple. Mexico has only been a country since 1821. They don't have the infrastructure to manufacture their own arms. England is in debt. It is willing to pay off that debt by selling to anybody who is not American or French. The Mexican government meets those requirements, and Mexico buys 400,000 English Brown Bess muskets. Okay? Now, you do have some American muskets that were brought here. You have the U.S. Model 1795, which was made in the Springfield Arsenal in Springfield, Massachusetts. That is one of the first American muskets produced. Now, it is nothing more than a 1777 Charleville musket. Reason why is because we had this little thing called the War of Independence. There were a lot of French muskets laying around, and we based the 1795 off of the Charleville 1715. You have the Harper's Ferry Arsenal, which begins producing this musket, which is the Harper's Ferry Model 1816. Okay? So the Harper's Ferry 1816 is a copy of the Model 95, and the 95 is a copy of the French Charleville. All 3 of those muskets fire a 69 caliber lead ball. Okay? So right now, imagine if you were, the year is 1836, it's January, the Texians have just taken the Alamo, and we know Santa Anna's going to come back, so we're going to be doing some drill. Okay? So right now the men would be at what is known as order arms. Okay? Now we got to teach these soldiers how to carry these muskets. So the primary way is shoulder, arms. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Okay, prop it up on your left shoulder. Your left hand is about at your waistline. And we would be marching anywhere from 10 to 12, maybe even 15 miles a day. Okay, so another way that we would carry this weapon is to support arms. Okay, real simple. Drape your left arm across your body, create a pocket, carrying the musket by the lock in the pocket of your arm. And sometimes running onto the field of battle, take your right hand, place on the small of the stock to provide some stability. Arms. All right, now, we look up here. We got some clouds in the air. Now that might be very bad for us because these weapons will always be loaded. And they are black powder weapons. So one of black powder's gravest enemies is not the other army, it is moisture. Okay, so if we're marching along and it begins to rain, we would go to secure arms. Okay, we're going to take the musket, rotate it down, rotating the lock up underneath our left armpit and rotating the barrel towards the ground. And this keeps rainwater out of the lock, which is where your priming powder is, okay? And keeps rainwater out of the barrel. All right, shoulder, arms. Now let me redirect you again. We said this is a three-pronged weapon system, okay? All of these bayonets are equipped with what's known as a socket bayonet. It is a socket that has a bayonet on it, which allows you to fire the weapon and immediately transition to the spear. So, if we needed to use the bayonet, we would go to arms, port, charge, bayonets. Ah! All right, so I went from having a wall of firearms to having a wall of spears. Really good in case the enemy decides they want to take a run at you, but more importantly, even better if enemy cavalry decides to charge at you. Okay, despite what Hollywood says, horses will not run into sharp, shiny objects. Right? Unfixed bayonets. All right, so now, before we do the volleys, we're going to walk through the 12-step firing procedure for these muskets. Okay? Every soldier would be required to know this in order to take the field. More importantly, they should be able to fire 3 shots a minute before taking the field. Okay, the first command would be squad, prepare to load in 12 times, load. Bring the musket down to their right hip. Then they're going to open pan. Now these are flintlock weapons. Okay, so they have a small pan at the base of the breech, which you would put some small amount of powder in, which is known as your primer. Okay, so we have to handle cartridge, so we have to reach behind for our cartridge. Musket cartridges are pre-measured powder with the ball on top, wrapped in a paper tube. It's made of paper, so the way that we get it is we have to tear cartridge. So we're going to bite it with our teeth, tear it off. All right, and then we're going to prime. So we're going to pour just a little bit of powder into the priming pan. So when that flint hits that hardened steel, it'll create a spark, which will create a flash, igniting the main charge. Cast about, bring the musket around in front, then we will charge cartridge. Then we're going to pour the rest of the powder, crumble the paper up, and put the ball in the muzzle. And then we will draw, rammers, and ram. So we're going to pack it. The reason we got to pack it, black powder needs to be under pressure in order for an explosion to occur. Return, rammers, shoulder, arms. Now the reason we go back to shoulder arms is because in the heat of battle, you're not going to be able to hear me, and I'm not going to be able to hear them. So I look down the line, see that everybody's back at shoulder arms. That means they're ready to fire. Okay, now, likewise, in battle, they're not going to be able to hear commands from the commander, so that's why we have Kirk, our driller. The firing sequence is 3 steps. Squad, prepare to fire by the drum. Make ready. Take aim. And everybody's favorite?
Fire.
Fire. Boom. Shoulder, arms. All right, so that's how we do it. Okay, we're going to run through that one time by the numbers, and then the last 2 will be at the quickest time.
Choose. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1, 2. Choose. Take 2 steps to the rear. March.
Was this just one mission? Aren't there 4 of them? Huh? Is this just one mission? Aren't there 4 of them? That's not what?
Original. Or that. Electricity.
Who knows? Maybe it was.
She said this go through here is really neat and then there's panels in here. Oh, this is one in there. More built in.
I doubt they count their, what is it, Hail Marys or whatever.
I don't know.
Look at that.
They're beads, that's what I call them.
So that water thing is built into the wall and has a spout.
You think they fill it up from outside? And
Maybe?
that's cool.
Hey.
Bundling up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just trying to get me to do it too. Does it not open?